You are listening to Iron Suits, where strength wears the crown. Welcome back. I am your host, Marwan Killu, coach to CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives who are at the top of their game, but tired of feeling like their body isn't keeping up with their success. Today's episode, another good one for you. It's called Still Wasting Time Whilst Others Wait. If you found this helpful, if you find this episode helpful, then share it with another leader because it's the only way that we spread the message and change and share it with another leader because as iron sharpeneth iron, so one man sharpeneth another. All right, let's get going. There's different currencies in the world, right? And so when most people hear the currency, they immediately think it's money, right? Money, cash, dollars, euros, pounds. That's it. But here's the thing. Currency is not just money. You can pay someone with your attention. You can pay someone with your time. You can pay someone with your energy. And of course, you can pay with your money. Currency is just a way to exchange value, isn't it? And one thing I've noticed over the years is that the people who win big, the ones who get results fast, they use their resources differently. Winners love speed and losers, well, they just love to waste time. Winners get results fast, whereas losers, they spend years stuck in research mode trying to figure it out themselves. And that's the difference. It's brutal, but true at the same time. And I'm not exaggerating here. Like, they're super wealthy, they're high performers, not even the super wealthy, just wealthy. High performers, the people who seem to get results that everyone else wants. They value their time more than their money. And I'm not saying they don't care about money. Of course they do. But they use money to buy the one thing that's actually scarce. The one thing that you can't get back once it's gone, and that is time. See, when I got into fitness business, I flew to Chino Hills for half-day sessions with Bedros Keuilian, who was my mentor at the time. I wanted to learn fast. I wanted results fast. That was a 12-odd-hour flight each way, not including the commute from my house to the airport, which is another 2 hours, and another 3-hour wait in the airport. So we're talking about a day of pretty much flying just to go there for 4 hours and back. And I didn't stop there. I was also mentored by Vince Del Monte. So he got two of the very best in the business. I started investing in myself to make that dream reality. At one point, I was paying a mentor the same amount as my mortgage because I knew getting guidance was the fastest way to live the life that I imagined. And, some of my friends said, look, you're crazy, bro. You could have figured it out on YouTube. And yeah, maybe I could have. But here's the thing. Winners pay for speed. And losers, they waste years, months, second guessing every move. I wanted the results now. I didn't want to waste thousands of hours placing together the right sequence, testing, assessing, reassessing, testing, reassessing. I wanted the cake baked. I wanted it ready to eat. And that's a mentality that has served me forever. And I would go to bed imagining the life that I wanted, the holidays that I wanted to take, the freedom I wanted to have. Not just financial freedom, but time freedom. I wanted to be able to walk into a store, pick up whatever I wanted, and not even notice the price. I wanted to order the $150 Tomahawk Wagyu at the steakhouse if that's what I felt like that day. And it fitted my It fits my macros. And you know what I'm talking about, right? See, most people pick a restaurant, then spend 10 minutes debating the menu: 8-ounce fillet or 12-ounce, ribeye or New York steak, fillet or wagyu, all based on price. That's not freedom. Freedom to me is walking in and ordering based on preference. And it's the same with designer clothes. I loved Gucci, Dolce, Prada, Ferragamo, all these Italian designers. And for you, it might not be Gucci. It might not be Ferragamo. It might be whatever speaks to your taste, your style, your life. It could be a piano that you like. It could be a certain type of swimming pool, right? We can even talk about cars. Back in the day when I was younger, in my 20s, I wanted a BMW M3 Cabrio. That was like my favorite cars. The German cars were like my favorite. I couldn't afford it. But if you've been to dealership, you know the drill, right? You've got the base model, you've got the mid-level, you've got the high end, fully loaded. Every trim has a price. So you start off with I don't know, a 316 BMW maybe. Then you go into 318, and then the 320, and then 325, and then there's like SE, and then there's like Sport, and there's like Compact, and all this stuff, right? And everything comes with something different. So by the time you've done your research, your brain is pretty fried from having to look at all these models. And when you walk in the dealership, they don't have every single model. They just give you like the most expensive ones, or the ones that you really look at and you're like, oh, that's really good. I like the look of this one. So I was living in London back at the time. I was living in London, and I remember going into Park Lane where the BMW dealership was. That was I think that was their head office, Park Lane BMW. And Park Lane, prestigious London. You have a look at all these cars over there. They're all shiny with the wheels all sort of gleaming silver, and the tires all shiny and stuff. Right? And you just go in there and just look at the prices. They don't give you like the sort of the low level models. And so you just want to walk in there. It's like, I like this car. I really want to take it. Okay. And so most people eliminate options immediately based on money. And I hated that. I hated walking in the dealership and thinking, I can't afford this car. I like that M3. And it's like window shopping, where you go in there and like the salespeople look at you and you're like, what are you doing in here? I wanted to walk in there without having to wear a suit, without having to like, I wanted to just be myself, to be taken seriously. Uh, what I'm trying to say is that I didn't want to go in there scruffy, but I didn't want to go in there having to force myself to wear a suit if I didn't have to buy a car. And I wanted to buy the best car. So the long and short of it is I got an M3 in the end, but that's not that's not the that was my favorite car growing up. Now I'm into completely different taste. So anyway, when I got into business, I dreamed of the day that I could just walk in and say, I want that one with everything. So restaurant, car, clothes, fitness program, coaching program, business. I didn't want to waste time at the bottom. I wanted the best straight away. So I managed to get an M3. As I just said earlier, I went into the dealership. I saw that M3 Cabriolet. I think it was yellow. And I was like, I want to have that one. And I got that. But the goalpost has sort of moved, so to speak. Right now I'm to cars that are sort of much more at a high level. And I'm not at that level yet, but, I'm working towards it. So anyway, to get to the level that I got to, I had to spend close to like 150K figuring out the game of business. So mentors, masterminds, learning marketing, communications, mindset, networking, all of it, because I wanted results faster. And some of my friends thought I was insane. You could have learned all that online. Yeah, sure, maybe. But I wasn't interested in piecing together 1,000 videos and posts and podcasts for months or years. I wanted to buy speed, save myself the time, and get straight to the results. Now, not everyone can afford to pay for speed, okay? Not everyone has the money, credit, or belief in themselves yet. And that's okay. That's fine. If that's the case, then your only option is time, because all of us, you, me, the next person next to us, everyone listening, they all get 24 hours in a day. That's it. So if money isn't available, you spend your time, you learn, you research, you put things together bit by bit, slowly figuring out the system. See, free info is everywhere. Google, YouTube, ChatGPT, or Grok, or Gemini, or whichever AI model you want to use, right? But here's a kicker. The people who win fast are willing to part ways with their money because some people value their money too much. And it's like they're squeezing every dollar too hard. And that unwillingness to pay for speed, it costs them. It costs them big time. Right? And at the end of the day, the difference between winning fast and getting stuck is simple. It's your willingness to spend money to save time. Winners do it. Losers hoard dollars and waste hours. Because here's what happens when you try to DIY everything. You go to YouTube, piece together info, second guess every move because you're never really sure if you're doing it right. One person says this, then another person says that, an influencer says something else entirely, and all that time spent figuring out what's correct, it's wasted. It's bananas. And not only that, it's like everybody has a certain bias towards something. Okay, some person has got a bias, for example, towards keto. Some person has a bias towards, low carb. Some person is has this kind of style. So, I was listening to YouTube, watching a YouTube video the other day where one guy was talking about fruit being so bad. I'm like, this guy was like a famous doctor. I'm like, you stand there in front of millions of people telling them that fruit is bad. And I just don't get it because half the population is obese. and so to tell them that fruit is bad is just, mind fuck, is mind blowing. I don't get how these people get platforms. But anyway, here's a part that I want you to hear. Okay. I make money in a capacity that if I was to spend all my time doing the bullshit that I don't want to, then I'd make less money, right? And I'm going to give you an example in a second of exactly what I mean, which is why I'd rather buy the cake that already baked. I want the recipe done, even preheated, the frosting on top, ready to eat. And my point is, by spending money to save time, you're accelerating your results and reclaiming your life. And Don Martell talks about this in his book. He says, every business owner should calculate how much their time is worth. So if you're making multiple 6 or 7 figures, if your hour is worth $100, $200, $500, $2,000, whatever it is, then every decision to do low value work yourself instead of outsourcing it, it is effectively losing that money. So my previous mentor, Bedros Keuilian, talks about it. If I remember correctly, he lost a $5,000 customer because he was doing a $100 job, which was sorting out I want to say irrigation like system in his garden that does water. I don't remember the exact word that he used, but something to do with that. So he was trying to fix this whilst his assistant Joan was actually taking the sales school. Right. Again, Craig Ballantyne talks about this in his book, The Perfect Day Formula. Craig Ballantyne came to speak to a lot of the masterminds that I went to, again with Bedros Keuilian as well. Um, anyway, so the math stacks up fast, right? The other time that we had our house painted, and we needed a new wardrobe, so by the time that I would have got everything done in the house, I moved all the furniture around, took out the TV, put the furniture back, wait for it to dry, took out the old wardrobe, emptied everything out the wardrobe, and what was it? Unscrewing the old wardrobe because it was fitted, but taking the stuff out, taking it to the tip, putting the new wardrobe in. That took someone 3 days. Okay, 3 days to do. It probably would have taken me more than a week of doing that work consistently, maybe even longer. Okay. So what happened? I paid someone to come and do this for me. It's not just convenience, it's multiplying your effective earnings. Okay. So again, I paid for speed. I paid for something that was allow me to make more money rather than investing my time or wasting my time doing $50 tasks, for example. Okay. And that's the difference between people who win big, fast, and the people who don't. It's not luck, it's understanding the worth of your time and being willing to spend money to save it. So, again, I'll give you another example with regards to the cars. If I get my cars serviced, I have a guy that comes to my house and services my cars. And I don't need to waste my time going to the dealership, sitting there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours for them to decide finally that, oh, okay, now it's your turn. Come back at whatever time. I get the guy to come in at a certain time. I give him the keys. He services the cars, and then he gives me back the keys. Simple. Right? It's worth this is worth my time. It's worth me paying extra to have somebody do this for me. So I see it in fitness as well. Okay. Some people get on 3 to 4 discovery calls. They're people I get on call with. And, they do research every program. They research programs for weeks and then decide, I just figure out myself, and like, I'm not saying don't do research with your program. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, fair enough, do research. But like you're doing 3 to 4 hour discovery calls, every call is like an hour. Okay. That's 4 hours. You just wasted. And by the time you take the decision back and you compare both together and then you go backwards and forwards and maybe ask the wife, you've lost weeks, man. Like they could have had a proven path and shaved months, maybe years off their journey. Like free info is everywhere. You're not short of information like Google, YouTube, ChatGPT again. But if you haven't done it in 20 years, right? If you haven't got in shape for 20 years, then the odds of like flipping the switch and finger out are fucking slim, slim to nothing, right? There's like 0%. And see, a big difference is that people value money over time, whilst others, they value their money, rather, they part their money to buy themselves speed, efficiency, and results. And that choice compounds over years. So here's a question for you. How much is your time really worth? Is it worth trying to figure it out on your own for 2 years when you could get results in 12, 16, or even 6 months? Is it worth spinning your wheels for months when a straight line system could do it in a year? Only you can decide this. So my advice to you is model successful people, model the wealthy, model the people who get things done fast. Use all your resources, money included, to buy speed and protect your time. Because when you do that, the results that isn't just faster outcomes. It's more time with your family, more focus on your business, more joy, and more freedom. Ask yourself, are you the person who wastes time or the person who values it above everything else? And then start making decisions based on that. Start protecting your time. Start getting the cake already baked so you can enjoy eating it sooner. If you do that, I promise you the efficiency, the joy, and the freedom you'll create is life-changing. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, if you did, make sure you share it and subscribe to the show to get updates as soon as they get updates of the episode as soon as it goes live. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.